It's Saturday in America. I'm Kayleigh McEnany. We have not one, but two exclusive interviews. Spencer Pratt on how he plans to keep the streets of Los Angeles safe, and House Speaker Mike Johnson on how Republicans plan to hold the House as we head towards the midterms. And that is where we begin today. Democrats trashing America across the country. And apparently, Democrats are also trashing convenience stores.
I got this business owner, Arab guy, who's got this big, thick beard, right? And I was buying Gatorade or something, and I bring it to the teller to pay for it.
Mhm.
And he says, "Oh, are you Muslim?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Well, your beard is too short." I was like, "Oh, okay, you're gonna judge me? Okay, give me a second. I forgot something." So I walk back, I get a fifth of vodka, and I put it on the counter. He's like, "Hey, you can't buy that." I was like, "You're right, and you can't sell it." So I smashed it on the ground and walked out.
He could be your next senator in Michigan. Meanwhile, over in California, Democrats are turning their back to the American flag.
Director Rodriguez, would you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Absolutely. Hands over heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America.
Now, she claims to use that moment to ground herself, whatever that means. Meanwhile, the man looking to replace Nancy Pelosi is busy hanging out with drag queens.
Our future congressman! Thank you for being here.
And while leftists have spent the week attacking ICE agents in New Jersey, just a couple of months ago, Democrat candidates in California were calling ICE a cancer.
I don't think the problem with ICE is the boilerplate's bad and the mission needs to be rewritten. The whole thing is full of cancer.
And right here in New York, Mom Donnie's feeling like he's got the Midas touch. He's trying to oust an incumbent Democrat and replace him with a fellow socialist, despite her bragging about slamming the door on a, quote, old white lady. He's also looking to take out incumbent Dan Goldman with a candidate who wants to spend your tax dollars on Drag Queen Story Hour. So how do House Republicans plan to defeat these candidates and keep their House majority? Who better to ask than the Speaker of the House, Mike Johnson, who joins me now. Speaker Johnson, there's a lot of fear among Republicans because you have socialists and extremists replacing what were mainstream Democrats. So how do you plan to defeat them in November?
Well, we're excited about the midterms. We're bullish that we are going to defy history and grow this House majority, and we're going to do it on the basis of common sense, Kayleigh. Newt Gingrich, our good friend, has a way of crystallizing things. He said, Mike, this is not a contract with America year. Y'all did that in 2024, and you have fulfilled those promises for the people. This is a contrast for America election. It's a contrast between common sense, what Republicans represent, and crazy. That was a pretty good montage you had there in the beginning. That's what we're seeing around the country. The Democrats are in disarray. They have the radical insurgent left, the open Marxists, running for offices, including Congress, around the country. And this is not where the American people are. So we feel very good about our chances going in. I've got a very boring 90-minute slideshow I could share with you, Kayleigh, to show you all the reasons we're going to win. But it boils down to a proven record, better candidates, a fundraising advantage we have right now, and the fact that people understand the contrast between these two sides. We took over in this Congress 16 months ago. In the House, we passed over 700 pieces of legislation, so much of it geared for the concerns of the American people, bringing down cost and fixing the complete disarray that was created by the Biden administration over 4 years in every area of public policy. We'll continue to do that. We're delivering for the people, and I think they're going to reward that in the fall.
One of the things you did was you passed the Save America Act. I hear about this every single day from viewers. It trends online almost daily. What's your message to the Senate about the importance of voter ID legislation as we head into November?
Yeah, it's critically important. I mean, we have to have fair and safe and free elections, and we passed the Save America Act, or its previous iteration, the SAVE Act, 3 times in the House already, and we'll do it again. We're going to try to put it on the next reconciliation package and send it to the Senate again. They've got to get 60 votes for that unless it's in reconciliation, and so I think that is the route. But look, it is about a 95% public opinion poll issue. I mean, even Democrats, over 70% of Democrats say it's common sense. You have to have photo ID to vote. You got to be a citizen of the United States to vote in a U.S. election. These are not controversial notions, but we cannot get any Democrat in the House or Senate to vote for that. It's really unbelievable.
It is, and we will look and hope for that to pass through reconciliation. I also want to ask you about Delaney Hall in Newark. That's where these protests have taken place. I was stunned when I saw these images. This is an officer, an ICE officer, who was bitten by a protester, and they look like pretty deep wounds. We know others have had their life threatened, and yet CBP and ICE are looking at not having funding. So what do you say to Democrats as they're looking at not having a paycheck and wounds, bite wounds, because they're just doing their job?
It's really stunning. I mean, they broke off ICE, immigration enforcement, and border security from the regular appropriations process. No Democrat will vote for that, Kayleigh. Think of it. They don't want to give a dime to either of those critical agencies of our federal government. And so we're having to do that on our own in a reconciliation package with only Republican votes, just funding those two agencies. Now, I think we'll get that done next week. It's an urgent matter. The Senate's got to process it and send it to the House, and we'll, of course, pass that. But the idea that Democrats are done with that, it tells you all you need to know. I mean, when we ran in 2024 on our promises, securing the border was the top issue in America because they opened the border wide for 4 years, as we know. They let dangerous, criminal, illegal aliens into every community. So we got to work immediately. I'm proud to tell you that under President Trump's leadership and this administration and this Congress, we have shut that border down. There's been 0 releases for over a year now, whereas Biden was just sending them all into the country, 20 million people. So look, securing the border, bringing down taxes, bringing down costs for the American people, ensuring that our communities are safer, restoring to peace through strength and American energy dominance, and getting men out of women's sports, and ending trans surgeries for minors. This is what Republicans have delivered. The Democrats, Kayleigh, this Democrat Party, wants to bring all of that back, do the exact opposite of everything I just said. A contrast for America. I think everybody sees that.
And we'll look to next week to see if they get the funding that they deserve. They deserve to have paychecks in that very hard job. I also want to ask you about some breaking news. Bloomberg is reporting that there were Iranian missile strikes that injured several Americans at a Kuwaiti air base. We know the president was in the Situation Room for about 2 hours yesterday. He's been very clear, no dust, no deal. There could also be votes about Iran next week, war powers votes. Where do you think things stand?
Well, I talked to the president most recently last night about all of this, and you're right. He has dialed in on it. We've got to get the Strait of Hormuz reopened, and we've got to get this to a situation where there's no kinetic conflict. The Iranians, there's a bunch of al-jihadis over there, right? And the new leadership, I think, wants to bring an end to this conflict. I certainly hope they do. The War Powers Act on the House floor is being forced. They're going around the Speaker with a discharge to bring that to the floor. I don't believe it'll pass, and I hope it doesn't, because we don't need to take the authority away from the Commander-in-Chief and the Pentagon right now at this critical moment. The Operation Epic Fury has long since ended. We're now in a new phase of this, trying to bring calm and peace to the situation. We need our international partners to help out. I'm very optimistic about that. The President is as well. But it's difficult sometimes to deal with people there when we've had a total change in leadership, and they're still trying to get their bearings on who's in charge. So we're praying that this resolves quickly. I believe it will.
One of the things I wanted to ask you about is you have appropriated funds for 2027, and you're the first speaker in decades to return Congress to regular order rather than passing these massive omnibus bills. Now, someone watching their eyes may glaze over and say, why does that matter? Could you tell me why that matters for the American voter?
Thanks for saying that, Kayleigh. We're really proud of that. It's an important thing to get back to what we call regular order of Congress. Why is that? Because the way it's supposed to work every year is you have 12 separate appropriations bills. That's how you do federal funding. Why is that necessary? Because when you do 12 bills, you can appropriately negotiate, debate, go through that with a fine-tooth comb, be a good steward of taxpayer dollars. When Congress, over the last couple decades, abdicated that responsibility, and they passed Christmas omnibus spending bills right before Christmas Eve, sending everybody home with thousands of pages of legislation that no one had read or debated. It's no way to run a railroad. It's part of the reason why we got into the debt situation we're in. And so we're on several steps now working through back to fiscal sanity, and one of them is restoring the basic function of Congress. I'm really proud we've been able to rebuild the muscle memory for that, and we're going to keep it going.
Final question. I just have a few moments, but are you still praying in that congressional chapel that you took me to?
Yeah, that's, thanks for coming in. You came in, I think, maybe a couple days after I was elected speaker, 2.5 years ago almost. That chapel is well used, and we've worn the carpet out, Kayleigh, because we're doing this on prayer and patience. We have the smallest margin in U.S. history, and still, Republicans have delivered for the people. So I'm really grateful for strong leadership from the White House and President Trump, the team that we all work together in unified government. We're going to keep this going, and we're going to prove to the people they made the right choice by giving Republicans control of the federal government. Speaker
of the House, Mike Johnson, thank you for your time. Well, a man accused of threatening to bomb a Turning Point USA event, allegedly targeting so-called Christian nationalists. Now, this is the same rhetoric we repeatedly hear on the left. And
be sure to like and subscribe for all the Fox News latest on YouTube and catch full shows streaming now on Fox One.